and I'm going to be taking you guys a little tour of our recycling center today. So right now I'm up on our mezzanine, so it's the upper level of the recycling center to give you guys an overview of what's going on. So over here we have our drive-in lane, which is where folks can bring in all their recycled materials too. They can sell us scrap metals such as copper wire, aluminum siding, their aluminum cans, or if you just have recycled bottles, glass, paper, you guys can drive on into our lane. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock till 5 p.m. And you guys can sell your materials or just bring it in to the recycling facility as a different way to bring in your materials from our 25 post sites that we have scattered throughout Fairfield County. We actually have a resident using our program now. Here's where we take all of our materials and we sort everything, pre-sort everything by hand. So you have your glass bottles, which is the gray tube, your aluminum siding, you have cardboard boxes, and everything's kind of scattered out. Right over here is our conveyor belt. So all the materials, when we bring in trucks from our 25 host sites or from our commercial sites, everything gets dumped in this area where you see the forklift at. From there, we have a couple of our guys push the materials onto our conveyor belt, which then goes up the line, which is then hand sorted by at least 3 to 4 people at a time. Most recycling facilities, all material is hand sorted. A couple big recycling factories, such as like Rumpke, they actually have a machine that has an eye that will separate glass from plastic number 1, number 2. But smaller recycling facilities like ours, we hand sort everything. So you can kind of see over there, and we'll go further into the tour so you guys can get a close up of that. Now, after the guys are sorting everything from glass to aluminum, plastic number 1 to number 2, which we call clear and colored plastics. Clear plastics are like your plastic bottles, and then your colored plastics would be things like a milk jug, which has more of a tint to it, detergent bottles, things of that nature. From there, once it's recycled, it gets dropped down into cages, which we'll go closer into and see. And then once everything is sorted by hand, we then take it to our baler system, which is actually currently filling up as we speak. From there, we bale all the materials into huge clumps. And these bales can weigh from anywhere from 200 to 300 pounds, give or take. And after that, we have our loading docks back there. So we take these bales and we load it all up. And this is to keep our materials dry. So it's really important with recycling. One of the things that most facilities have a problem with is contamination. If this material got wet, our vendors would no longer be able to accept that material. We, as a recycling facility, have to maintain a certain contamination rate. So if our cardboard, for instance, got rained on, and we bailed that up, that would often mold. And then once materials start molding or have mildew, the materials can no longer be processed. So it's really important that we make sure we have our materials nice and dry, they're secure in a bundle. So all these storage containers back there, that's where all the material goes once bundled. This kind of an overhead, I'm gonna move for a second. This is an overhead of our shredding area. We do confidential shredding at our recycling facility. We have a truck that we can go on site if you have a lot of paper to be shredded. Right now it's 12 cents a pound. Or you can bring the material to the recycling facility and get your stuff confidentially shredded. You can either call us to schedule an appointment, or if you just want to drop off the material and you don't want to wash it, it will be locked up in this caged area, which is monitored. It's on surveillance. It's a very secure area, and we'll eventually shred it in a later time. So you have a couple options there. Now I'm going to move a little bit. I'm going to try not to get you guys too seasick, and go down and give you kind of more of like a land tour. So hang on, we're going to go on a quick trip downstairs. A little process. So that's just the overview of the recycling center. Like I said, I'm upstairs. This is where I store most of like our educational materials. We store a couple extra recycling totes and things like that. All right, flip you around here. So one really cool thing about our recycling facility is that our floor is heated. So we recycle old motor oil. It needs to be pure, so it can't have, the motor oil can't have things like water or antifreeze. It just needs to be old, dirty motor oil. We'll dump it into this machine, and there it goes into the floor, which heats up the water, and it will keep the recycling facility at a consistent 51 degrees in the winter. So that's really nice for our guys. This machine, of course, it's fairly old. I don't know how old it is. It can hold up to a good bit of oil. So that makes it really nice. It gives the community a different way to recycle motor oil. So right now we're in our drive-in lane, and then this is our buyback office. So right here is where you're going to take your materials. Once you weigh your materials, you'll get a slip. You'll pull up to this office, which is when we'll cash you out. Aluminum cans right now are going in 25 cents per pound. You're more than welcome to always come on in. Like I said, this office is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, so you can sell your materials. So this over here, I'm going to give you guys kind of like we're going and purchasing. We brought in cans. So when you first pull in the drive-in lane, you're going to stop and they're going to weigh all your cans on this scale. So after they're weighed, they'll go up this conveyor belt into another scale up there, where they'll drop down and be crushed into cubes. Each one of these cubes has roughly 700 to 800 cans and weigh roughly 25 pounds. So this is pretty cool. This is how we bundle all our material up, again, to be sold to the vendors. Typically, we stack this 11 high, and it weighs roughly 11,000 and 2,000 pounds, give or take. Now, one thing, if you press your cans, it's going to make the cubes a little bit more heavier. If you leave your cans open to take them in to sell to us, it's going to make our cubes a little lighter. And no matter what, we actually prefer our cans not to be crushed, so that way our cubes can be more tightly more condensed, more compacted. However, you're more than welcome to crush your cans at home to save storage. I'll walk you over to the conveyor belt now. This is pretty cool. Our facility opened up, this facility here opened up in 2006. We just received a grant, and our recycling facility will now be under some construction. We're going to kind of redo the facility in order to process more materials more efficiently. So the materials, like I said, it goes up, and then you get hand sorted, and it drops down into these cages. So I'm going to take you guys up to see kind of how they actually hand sort the materials. Certain guys pick certain materials that they're going to sort. You can see them dropping in, the materials dropping in from their cages. I don't know if you guys, how well you can hear me. It's kind of loud in here. So we're going to go upstairs. Sorry, it's shaky again. All right. So we're going to go upstairs. And then materials, so say they have trash. Our trash, anything that can't be recycled, it'll drop down this chute and then fall into our trash barrel where we'll have to throw it away. And we do sometimes miss material. Well, like things like this McDonald's cup, we couldn't recycle it because typically those cups are #5 plastic. We got a lot of yogurt containers. We get a lot of cake containers too, and that cannot be processed. So here the guys are hand sorting all of the materials that are coming in, and they're dropping it into these chutes. So you'll see all the material kind of fall in. So that's how we sort all the material. Like I said, all this material is sorted by let these guys kind of go. We're cleaning up the floor. It's really important to make sure we pick up all the trash, not left around, hanging out. I'm going to sneak behind you, Josh. And then in here, this is, like I said, where we store all of our materials at. So this is our mixed paper. So you're going to see things like paperboard, newspaper. You'll see a little bit of shredding paper too. Once this trailer is full, it'll weigh roughly 30,000 pounds, give or take. They'll go to one of our vendors. We have a couple vendors across the United States that will take this material. But like I said, it needs to make sure that the paper is clean, it's not wet, it's not muddy. We had a question the other day on our Facebook page. Somebody dumped in a whole bunch of gravel and dirt into one of our host sites. And somebody asked, he said, well, can't the material still be recycled because dirt and mud is organic? And unfortunately, if that material, so if the paper got rained on and with that mud, it's going to ruin the whole load. So it's really important to keep your paper clean and stored it. This is our plastic bottles. It's kind of neat to see them all crushed and cubed. Here's the cardboard. You'll see sometimes we have a little bit of contamination. So paperboard to like Pepsi containers, Mountain Dew containers, granola bar boxes, that's actually paperboard, and paperboard is not cardboard. It's another form of paper. Paper and cardboard, they have different fibers, and when you mix the fibers, it actually reduces your cost of the load. So we try to keep all the cardboard bundled together, paperboard, paper, newspaper, all that in a different section. But again, you are going to have some contamination, and some contamination is okay with certain facilities, but you have to maintain within a certain level. If your loads get rejected too many times, the company will start refusing your orders, and then you have to go and find another vendor. And this is very hard because vendors are particular on what they can and cannot accept. So some vendors, for instance, say we had too much contamination in our paper. Well, some vendors are going to want you to sort out all newspaper, all copier paper, and things like that because it's made up of different fibers. So it's really important you try to sort your materials at our host site as possible. And again, we have our guys up on top of the line that is going to do some sorting, but it does help out a lot. Oh, cool. So one of our trucks just got back from picking up some sites. So you'll see the truck. I'll kind of sneak up here. So when materials are getting emptied, we lift up the hatch, and then all the materials is pushed onto the floor. From here is when the guys and the girls are going to separate all this material. Now, one of the things we try to push is do not bag recycled items. We want them loose. It feels kind of foreign when you're throwing your recycling into the container without a trash bag, but plastic bags cannot be recycled at our facility, or trash bags. If they get sent up up our conveyor belt, or if they get sent up our baler, the plastic is too thin and it gets caught in our machinery. It clogs the machinery, it wears down our belt. It can actually ruin machines. So all of our people, we have to go in here and open each one of these bags, whether it's a Kroger bag or whether it's a trash bag. We have to rip it open and throw that away. So actually reduce your plastic by just not even using a plastic bag and just dump your materials directly into our bins. And that'll save us a lot of time, and it'll save the planet a lot of plastic from just being thrown away. So from here, after the truck leaves, our guys are going to come in here and start ripping up bags, and then they're going to start pushing materials onto this conveyor belt. From there, it'll get pushed up, and the guys will start hand sorting the materials again. Now, a lot of times to try to get the trash, throw away the trash that cannot be recycled on the floor, but again, some trash gets missed, so it has to go up the conveyor belt and then hand sorted. So it's kind of like a two-step process from making sure we're reducing and having the lowest contamination rate as possible. But this, like I said, this is not the best load because you have a lot of plastic bags. Looks like we have some plastic liner over here, and things of that nature. I see a straw. So just make sure you guys are keeping your recyclables clean, because like I said, we are a hand sorting facility, and there's nothing worse than sticking your hands in a wet pile of trash, especially when it contains dairy products like milk or cheese. That's very, very stinky, and we want to make sure we're trying to keep our employees as safe as possible. So wash out, rinse out your recyclables, don't bag your recyclables, and know before you throw. So make sure you're only recycling plastics number 1, you're recycling plastics number 2, aluminum cans, paper, and things of that. So know before you throw. And that will help our facility greatly. I'll take you over to our shredding area. And this will be kind of like the last bit of the tour. So this is our shredding machine. Right over here, everything gets shredded into pretty thin strips. I don't know the measurements off the top of my head. And then I'll go up this conveyor belt right over here, and it'll fall into a massive paper pile. And this is pretty good. We actually just baled it. This pile will get crazy big by the time we get a good bit of shredding. And then we'll go over to our baler system and bale it. But it's pretty cool. You can see the strips are fairly thin, all compacted. Pretty nice. So that's a nice option for the community if you guys do have documentations that need to be shredded confidentially. Right now we are, if you do take in a box, we are shredding a 1 box free as of now. That may change. And like I said, anything over 1 box is 12 cents a pound currently. So then I'm going to take you guys to the education office, which is where I work. We're going to go around some forklifts. Oh, here's a fun thing. Tires. We get a lot of tires, unfortunately, dumped. And this is considered illegal dumping. Tires cannot be recycled at our facility. And you cannot throw tires away into a landfill. Tires are known when you throw them into the landfill, they'll eventually swim their way back up and resurface, even they're buried by thousands of pounds of dirt and trash. So you want to make sure you're recycling your tires by taking them to an automobile store, or when you replace your tires, just pay the small fee and get rid of them then and there. It's much easier doing that than to just hoping you can find somewhere that'll take them. There's too many tires in this world. It takes up a lot of resources, and dumped tires are often mosquito traps. The water pulls up in the lips of the tires, and that's when you get a lot of mosquito infestation. So make sure you're recycling your tires properly by taking them to an automobile store and not throwing them into our containers. This is very costly for us as a program. Illegal dumping costs us and the state thousands of dollars every year. So just make sure you're properly throwing away your material. One more thing I see in this pile that would not be able to be recycled is these hangers. Plastic hangers are usually made up of multiple different plastics. We cannot take the plastic hangers here, but you can call like a laundromat. Often they will take plastic hangers and reuse them for garments and give them out to people. So that's another great option. Again, like I said, just know before you throw, because this flow does have a lot of contamination in this pile, which is unfortunate, but it happens more often than what you think. Now we're going to go into the education office. And so after, typically what we normally do is this is the education room. We offer tours and presentations throughout all the times of the year. Right now, as we are a level red for the pandemic, we cannot do in-person tours and presentations. However, we can do virtual tours. This space is really nice because it allows me to conduct a lot of activities in this room, which is awesome. And I'm going to take you guys to our bottle cap project. So we are collecting bottle caps for the Forest Row School. And we are at, how many caps are we?
838 pounds.
So we're wanting to get 1,000 pounds of caps. So all these caps need to be organized, and they need to be plastic. So you can do coffee lids, detergent lids, really add up the pounds. yogurt lids, butter lids, things of that nature. Nothing that has metal on it, or cork. We've seen a lot of cork. So it has to be only plastic lids. There's a list on our website that says what can be recycled for this program. If you are interested in recycling your caps, we're going until August 31st. And it's right outside of the front of the recycling facility, so you don't have to come in. It's pretty contactless. This is our tote that you're more than welcome to take in your caps until August 31st. That's when the program is stopping. You open this up and then just dump your caps directly in. Like I said, no like tin lids, like spaghetti container lids. Starbucks, we get a lot of like the Frappuccino Starbucks lids in here. Pop bottle tabs, we cannot accept that into the program. Just plastic lids, plastic bottles. Again, you can do ice cream tubs, cottage cheese lids, pop bottle, water bottle caps, things of that nature. So we're trying to collect as many lids as possible so the Forest Grove School can get some benches. They're getting 10 benches. They're planning on putting 10 benches around Fairfield County, and the benches will be made out of recycled material. This bench wasn't exactly made out of pop bottles, but it was made out of number 2 plastic, so like milk jugs. And this bench took roughly 2,000 to 3,000 milk jugs just to make one bench. So it's amazing to see how many caps, 100 pounds of caps is a bench. So that's pretty cool on that. And now I can go and answer some questions that you guys may have. Once I get unlocked from the office. There we go. All right. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Jen, did you want to go through the questions in the chat? Can you see those? You've been answering some of them, I think.
Could you hear? Okay. She has you on mute. Sorry. Do you want to read some questions and then I can answer them? Okay. Well, I'll go out.
Carrie, now you're on mute.
Oh. All right. There we are. Is the bottle cap project going to run all the time? We would like the bottle cap program to run nonstop. However, the only issue is we have to take all the caps to Indiana, and that's what Rachel's going to do. And the caps, we don't mind storing them here and collecting them, being the host site at the recycling facility, but it needs to be a youth organization that's in charge of the caps. And then you also have to have somebody that's willing to run out to Indiana to take all the caps and then take the benches back. So we would always be happy to be a drop-off site for the caps, but unfortunately, as of right now, we have no plans to continue on to the program. So August 31st will be the last date.
If anyone would like to take it on, let me know.
Yeah, because I mean, it is a great program, and it's really neat to see how much plastic as a community is using. I mean, we use a lot of pop bottles and water bottles, which at least we can use these caps and they can still be recycled in some way, shape, or form.
Carrie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jenny.
All right, so this is Jenny. I'm the director at the Recycling Center. So, I mean, like Carrie said, I mean, we have the space that we can continue to collect them. The bin out front, I think, is working really well. And we can house them here. But if there are any groups, you know, that want to do it as like a fundraiser type thing, and I don't think Rachel's had any problems getting sponsors to for the financial end of it. It's really just right now, it's, what is it, Rachel, like 10 hours each way or something to take them?
I think it's 5 hours each way to take them, but we have to take all of them and then bring back the benches like at the same time, and you have to schedule a specific time. And like if we had trucks that would go, I mean, and just take them for free, that'd be great, but we have to pay, you know, if we have someone paid someone to get them back and forth, then that cost starts to go up. But we've got 10 sponsorships, and I got those within a 24-hour time frame. I had a lot of people that were asking me if they could do more than one bench, and unfortunately I already had gotten rid of all the 10 sponsorships, but if we continued it somehow through a different organization, we would have no problems getting those sponsorships at all, I'm sure.
Yeah, so if there was like a school or, like 4-H clubs, Girl Scouts, I mean, any kind of that kind of group that, we would be happy to work with them and continue to collect them. And I mean, we'll even sort through them with them. And, I mean, it's not a big deal as they're coming in. We're kind of weighing them, putting them in boxes. Now that we know a little more as they're coming in, we're doing things rather than, oh crap, we have 700 bottle caps we now have to go through and weigh. Or 700 pounds. So, if anybody has any ideas, we are totally open because we think it's a great program, and it's, it's cool when we see people come up with bags full of bottle caps. The only real education is just trying to get them to open the bags and dump them in rather than throw the bags in, which it's not a big deal. We just go out once or twice a week and sort them out.
We really appreciate you guys teaming up with us to do that too, because when our buildings closed, we couldn't accept the caps anymore at our buildings. And Jen and Carrie, they came through immediately and were like, yep, we can put a trash can out front, have people bring them here, no problem. They've been sorting for me and weighing, and it's been amazing. So we really appreciate you girls for doing that.
No problem. It was a
Yeah.
transition.
Plus, it's cool to see how much the community is recycling, and like, it's nice to see the community involved. I mean, you don't think that a few bottle caps is really going to make a difference, but every bottle cap counts, as we know. I mean, we're in the final push for the program. We still need roughly like 120, 130 caps more that we're waiting on. So, I mean, every cap counts. So that's been a pretty cool project that we've been participating with. I'm just trying to read some of the chat.
I'm trying to see. There was one that I didn't answer. Recycling meds, Carrie.
Oh, recycling medicine. So you can take medicine, old medicine. You don't want to flush medicine down the drain. So the problem with flushing medicine down the toilet or in a sink is that the medicine breaks down and goes into our waterways. And that has a huge impact on aquatic life, from microscopic life to fish. So where you can take your medicine to is most sheriff's office, I would call before, has a station where you can take an old pharmaceutical medicine. You can dump it in there. A lot of times they do ask you take the label off. So it doesn't have your name, it doesn't have your address, it doesn't have what you were prescribed. But you can take all types of medicine other than the last time we've done a couple drug and electronics events. You cannot take like creams or like eye drops, things of that nature. And you can always call companies or look up exactly how to dispose of a said prescription. When it comes to any type of like household hazardous waste, medicines, things like that, always read the bottle, and typically they have disposal recommendations on how you can get rid of it. Sometimes we do a drug and electronic collection event. We do one in Lancaster, and then we do one in Violet Township. Our spring event unfortunately got canceled due to COVID-19. We partner with Fairfield County Soil and Water to do this event, which is really nice because you can recycle laptops, tube TVs, cell phones, laptops, anything of that nature. But I don't know what our plan is for the fall. I actually need to kind of do a little touch base and see if we are planning on that. So you could take your medicine to one of our collection events, but when in doubt, always call like the sheriff's or the police department, and they usually will accept old medicine there. It's a good question. And then medicine bottles, as long as the label's ripped off, and the caps can actually be recycled as part of our bottle cap program. So up until August 31st, you can recycle the little containers here. But again, it needs to rinse them out, peel the labels off, and then of course take the cap off.
The top and the bottom?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have another question. Can you recycle this at your facility, these type of paper things?
So that's a really good question. Preferably no. So the problem with cartons, like the iced coffee cartons, is usually there's a wax layer in the inside. Not all carton typically we call them paperboard, but it does have a wax, and anything with a wax layer on it, and typically you can kind of like run your finger and feel the wax, can't be recycled. Vendors have a really hard time of breaking down that material from the fiber. So when in doubt, no. And plus, again, I kind of mentioned that we're not very good about washing out our materials, and they get really stinky really fast, and they can mold and mildew in there. So we try to just encourage like paperboard liquid holders because it has the wax, but also liquid gets missed.
Okay, I have one more question. Sorry, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I think I got on here a few minutes late, so I saw someone post something about smashing aluminum cans. Did you say you don't want them smashed? I missed whatever that was.
You can smash your aluminum cans. It's absolutely fine. We like them unsmashed because we can, how our machine crushes them, we can usually get more in our cube, which is kind of opposite. You think it's opposite because you think, oh, I'm crushing them down, so that means more. But when they are full, it's just easier for our machine to compact them and dense them down. But it's whatever you guys want to do. I mean, we're going to take aluminum cans no matter what, whether they're crushed or whether they're regular. So bring them in however you want.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
I've been crushing down bottles. Is there any problem with doing that?
Nope, you can crush down bottles.
Okay.
I mean, the way I look at it, I'd rather have people crush their materials down because that's going to encourage them to recycle. It saves you guys less trips to going out to the host sites or to the recycling facility. So you can crush it down. It's just one of our things. It's kind of like a fun fact. Like, you don't have to, and that's totally fine. But if you want to, it's fine too.
When you were recording them sorting by hand, I noticed a big Arizona tea jug.
Yeah.
Is that a no-no?
That was probably missed. I believe that would that's
okay.
probably a number 2 plastic.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes our material does get missed. I mean, we had 2 guys up on the sorting line, and right now we're down a couple guys. We have some guys on vacation and some issues. But sometimes material does get missed. And I mean, that's one of the flaws of recycling, and you have it no matter what. A lot of times you see posts on the internet that recycling is not perfect or it's not sustainable. And that can be true. I mean, you have to have somebody that's willing to buy the materials. And then sometimes not every piece of trash is able to be recycled because when you're hand sorting, I mean, you only have so much. So that unfortunately was probably missed. I believe it was a number 2 plastic, which could have been recycled.
I've been throwing them in, so I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, no, you're good. As long as it's a number 1 or number 2 plastic, throw it in. Just sometimes things
So
get
an
missed.
interesting vendor fact right now when Carrie said, so right now we're having a hard time getting rid of a load of shredded paper. Normally that goes within Ohio, they get sold to mills making toilet paper in Ohio. There is an influx of toilet paper right now, coincidentally. So everybody the price has dropped on shred paper, and everybody's saying they need about a week or 2 before they want to buy shredded paper again because they aren't producing toilet paper as much right now. Because I assume that a month or so ago they threw all their resources into it. So that's we're kind of playing the COVID game a little bit here. Our materials, the vendors that we work with, it's fluctuating a lot more right now. Like aluminum really dropped and then it came back up because there weren't, a lot of, we were closed for a while on our buyback. Fairfield Core was closed even longer than we were for buying aluminum. So those are kind of, once we get the materials and we process them into bales, then we have to figure out. We have some vendors that, like our cardboard and our regular paper, that we pretty continuously use them. It doesn't fluctuate much. But the shredded paper, the plastics, aluminum, because aluminum is our highest dollar product. But material, the price of recycled materials is at an all-time low for the last 6 to 12 months. Prior to me coming here in October, I looked back at, sometimes we could get $25,000, $26,000 for a whole semi-truckload of baled aluminum. Now we're getting 17 or 18,000. So that's another hard part of the sustainability of recycling. Somebody asked a question about our grant. We get a lot of money funded from CFLP. Without them, we couldn't do what we do, because with what we get back from recycled materials, it's not even a small fraction of what it takes to operate this facility.
Yeah.
Terry, there was a question about Lowe's receptacles.
Yes, I seen that. So Lowe's does accept certain electronics that can be recycled. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I do know they do recycle certain light bulbs, some batteries, things of that nature. Check with Lowe's before you go. We actually do recycle batteries here at our facilities. All batteries, no matter where you take them, they need to be taped. So the connectors, just take a clear piece of Scotch tape and wrap it around. Batteries, a lot of times if it rubs against a certain metal, it can create a spark, which of course can catch your facility on fire. So it's very important, no matter what kind of battery you have, tape it with clear tape. Button batteries, so like watch batteries, those definitely tape all the way around. You have another place where you can, and we also take cell phones that you can recycle here as well. Retriev Technologies, which is on Quarry Road in Lancaster, they're actually doing a community battery drop-off day on August 21st. It's from 2:30 to 6 p.m. You can check out our Facebook page, and I've been sharing information on that to get more fine details, or just go to Retriev Technologies to their Facebook page and visit it. You can recycle dead batteries or any type of e-waste, old laptops, cell phones, things of that nature. We have their boxes, which is how we recycle our batteries here. But again, just try to tape your batteries. Don't recycle swollen or leaky batteries. Those have to be properly disposed of in a different container. And unfortunately, we do not have the resources here that we can take. I'm not sure if Retriev Technologies during this community battery drop-off day would be accepting leaky or swollen batteries. That's just because a lot of times the chemicals react differently in the battery, and it has to be recycled and handled completely different than a regular just household battery that's fine. So you do have that option. Again, the information is on Retriev's Facebook page, and on our Facebook page, I've been sharing it. So stay tuned for that. So that's another great way you can recycle cell phones, batteries, laptops, anything of that nature.
We have a box for batteries too at the admin office at DD. So if any of you guys have the little, just like the small batteries, you can tape them up, and there's a green box in the mailroom in there too. Not that anyone's really in the office right now, but whenever you are again.
And then the library, I know in Lancaster, they have one of our big green boxes that you can recycle little household batteries there. And there's actually a list of where you can recycle for the big green box program that we have throughout the county. It's on CFLP Solid Waste District.com's website. And from there, you'll see our list of where all of our battery locations are at. But you're always more than welcome to take your batteries to the recycling facility. And currently we still have enough boxes. So our boxes are also, so the battery boxes, our light bulb recycling boxes, that's all funded by a grant. And so we get allocated so many boxes per year. So we still have a good bit of battery boxes that you guys can still keep recycling your batteries. If you have fluorescent light bulbs, the long ones, or like the medium-sized ones, you're more than welcome to take them to the recycling facility too. It's only for residential use, so not commercial use. You can take up to like 7 to 8 light bulbs at a time to our facility, and we're more than happy to recycle that for you as well. And also, if you guys ever have, if you want to recycle more into your homes and you want to go kind of more of a zero waste or a low waste way of living, check out a website called TerraCycle.com. They take hard to recycle items, so like granola bar wrappers, or they even have a way you can recycle old razors. Check out them. They usually, sometimes their boxes cost, but they also have free recycling programs that you can directly send that material to. We're actually starting within the next month, just for our community action, just for our agency and our office. We're going to start collecting old pens and markers that no longer work to take into their BIC recycling program that TerraCycle offers. So that's a great way to increase recycling in your office or even at your home by checking out TerraCycle.com. or it might be .org, but TerraCycle.
We've done a couple programs through them too, and we also do Crayola. We have boxes at the offices where you can put markers, and I've sent a couple boxes to Crayola, and we did one through TerraCycle that was plastic cups and lids that you like the little cups for the water coolers.
Yep, a lot of times those are number 5 plastics, and they can't be recycled at many facilities. And the reason why we get often asked a lot of times that why can't you recycle 3 through 7 plastics? For one, it takes up, as you've seen, our materials takes up a lot of space, and we are limited on our space. But not only that, it takes a lot of money to ship these materials and to make sure they are being recycled properly. So it's just kind of a give or take in the recycling world. So 3 through 7s, like I said, we can't take them here, but TerraCycle might be able to take, like, solo cups are number 5. They might be able to recycle your solo cups and things like that if you are in an office, or you just drink a lot of solo cups all the time and not reusable. Check the chat.
I don't see any other questions, I don't think.
And if you guys have, like I said, if you guys ever want a presentation or you need more information or like a tour or even a virtual tour, we do waste audits here for any businesses or organizations interested. I love going out to the community and talking about recycling to the young and the old. I go to the Kiwanis a good bit. I go to schools a lot of time. I'm always willing to figure out some way, especially with the pandemic going on, of how I can educate your group or organization about recycling or composting. We do various projects about diverting waste and landfills. And I'm always more than willing to come over or to do something virtually with your group or organization to teach you guys about living sustainably and diverting waste. All you have to do is you can call me on my direct line. It's 740-205-8027. Or you can email me at khunt@faircaa.org. And I'm always willing to help you guys with a recycling project or something of that nature. So just give me a ring.
Awesome. It's a lot of information again. We've done how many calls? 3 calls with recycling, and every single time there's more information that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, I did have one more question. Can you tell us where the drop-off bins are around the county?
Yeah, so we have 25 scattered throughout. I'll grab a list real fast and tell you more exactly. We have, there's one on Tiki. We have our Liberty Centers, and some of our facilities do get, some of our drop-off locations are used more often. They are on a couple route pickup days. We pick them up a couple times throughout the week. So we have roughly 7 locations in Lancaster. So you can drop either your materials out front of the recycling facility or at our community action building. You have Community Transition Center, Liberty Center. There's a drop-off site at Ohio University Lancaster. There's, of course, Tinky Bowling Alley and St. Mark's, Ohio University Pickerington. So we have 4 locations in Pickerington you can recycle if you're up in that area. OUP, you can recycle at the Violet Township Maintenance Building, Trinity Family Life Center in Zeller Park. And then we have multiple locations scattered throughout. We have a location in Amanda Village, Baltimore Village, Bloom Township, Clear Creek Township, Greenfield Township. We have 2 in Greenfield. Pleasant, Richland, we have 2. Rush Creek Township. And you can find a list. It might just be easier because it has the exact addresses. Just going onto fairfieldrecycled.org and then go under trailer sites and just click it, and it has an updated list of where you can recycle, and it has what you can recycle at the facility. So just like I said, read the box, read the bins of putting your materials. You're going to do a little hand sorting, but it's not going to be a lot. And we greatly appreciate you guys using that. Last year we diverted as a whole, so with this commercial, residential, 2 to 3 million pounds of material. I think the collection site alone collected 500,000 pounds. It may be a little bit more. Off the top of my head, I can't recall. So that's a lot of material we're diverting from the landfill. So the programs are definitely working. We're always looking to expand the programs too. So if you're ever interested, if you have a church or at a church, or you're out of school and you're like, oh, this would be really cool to get started to become a host site, send me an email. I'll happy to send the information over to you.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything else? I don't see anybody. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. And if you ever have any questions or ever in the area, just pop on by.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Have a
no
good day.
problem. See you guys. Sweet, sweet.